And when she came in the room, she was like, she was first telling me, you know, all the stuff I needed to do prior to the surgery, and you know, what to stop taking, what to stop drinking, and all of that other good stuff. And then she went on to say, yo, surgery is going to be canceled. Hey guys, it's me, Mommy Over 50 for GBPS. I'm coming to you with another update. So today is my pre-surgery appointment. I am on my way to see my bariatric surgeon, and I think also I'm going to be seeing the anesthesiologist, and I'm going to be having some pre-surgery testing. I'm a little bit nervous about how this is going to go because I just did this, about 8 months ago, 7 months ago, when I had my back surgery, and that didn't go all too well. I had the pre-surgery testing probably about a week before the surgery, but then I don't know why they scheduled me for the anesthesiologist appointment like 3 days before the surgery. When I went to see the anesthesiologist, she just pretty much was just asking me a lot of questions about my medical history. We kind of went over the medications I was currently taking. Then we talked about, you know, any issues with anesthesia, which in my case, yes, I am very sensitive to sedation, and I make sure I let all anesthesiologists or anybody that's put me to sleep know that I am very sensitive to sedation. We talked about that, and then she went on to kind of like examine me. And when she was examining me, she was like, are you coming down with a cold, or do you have any allergies or anything going on? I was like, no, why? And she was like, because your lungs don't sound too clear. And I was like flabbergasted because I felt fine. So, but she kept saying the lungs didn't sound clear. And so after she was done with me, she's like, okay, well, you know, I'm just one of the, I don't know if she was just one of the I guess student anesthesiologists or just working. I don't know what she was, but she's like, I had to go talk to the head anesthesiologist, you know, give my report and see what they say. I was like, okay. So a few minutes later, the nurse came in the room, but the anesthesiologist didn't come back, and I'm like, okay. And when she came in the room, she was like, she was first telling me, you know, all the stuff I needed to do prior to the surgery, and you know, what to stop taking, what to stop drinking, and all of that other good stuff. And then she went on to say, yo, surgery is going to be canceled. I mean, she was just so nonchalant about it. And I was like, huh? And she said, yeah, they don't think that it's a good idea to, you know, put you under your lungs. They want to give you, you know, a week or so to kind of clear your lungs. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they were just only looking out for my safety. But this was one surgery I was really looking forward to. I was way looking more forward to that surgery than the surgery I'm going through now. And that's because I was going through hellified pain, and I was just ready for that pain to be over with. It was just really excruciating. Not to mention, because I have the small children at home, I have to plan for stuff like this. You know, I have to plan for going into the hospital, and the amount of days they told me that I was supposed to do 5 days in the hospital, and I ended up doing almost 2 weeks. You know, those type of, you know, situations you have to plan for when you have small children at home. And I planned for that, which was to have my daughter to come in from out of town, where she had already purchased her ticket and everything to come in to take care of the kids for me. only to have the surgery pushed back because they felt like my lungs wasn't clear enough. So yes, I was very disappointed. But we're not going to claim that today. We're going to claim that when I go in there today and I see that anesthesiologist, that everything is going to go well. I'm not worried about any blood work coming back abnormal because, like I say, I've always taken different type of vitamins to keep everything up, like my B1, my D3s, my iron, all of that stuff. I always do, take the supplements to keep those things up. I've been taking care of my blood pressure. I've been taking care of my diabetes. So I don't see any of the blood work coming back showing any concern. And I'm not sure what me and the bariatric doctor is going to talk about, but I am hoping that when I leave there today that it's a go, I'm thinking that since my surgery is next Friday and today is like Tuesday prior to the week of the surgery, I'm assuming that maybe Friday or Saturday will be the day that I start my all liquid diet. And it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. It really is going to be interesting to see how that goes. Again, as I get close to the surgery, I am getting nervous. I'm not in a rush to have this surgery, but I'm in a rush for this surgery to be over, if that makes sense. One of the reasons why I'm not in a rush to have the surgery is because I'm having flashbacks from the last surgery where they weren't able to wake me up and they had to Narcan me. So I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen again. I did explain to the anesthesiologist, and I'm going to make sure I explain it again to them today, that I am sensitive to sedation. I was told that years ago when I went in for a outpatient surgery and ended up in the hospital for about 2 or 3 days because they was not able to wake me up. I think my family is sensitive to sedation because I have an uncle that just recently had surgery. He ended up in intensive care, almost comatized because they couldn't wake him up. So I don't know if it's some type of hereditary thing, but I'm very sensitive to sedation. One time when I got put to sleep to have my shoulder pop back in place, the anesthesiologist told me, he was like, you was not lying when you said you are sensitive to sedation. He said, it usually takes this much in a vial to put a patient to sleep. He said, we gave you this much and you were snoring. But I was so happy when they just woke me up by one shake. All they did was say, Sandra, it's time to get up. And I woke up. That's the way I want to be with any surgery. I want to be able to just wake up. Because I'm going to tell you something, guys. I've never met my maternal grandmother. Now, I've had grandmothers in my life that were like my maternal grandmother, like my mom's best friend mom. So my grandmother passed away before I was born and when my mom was young. So her best friend mom took her in under her wings and took care of her. So I always grew up calling her best friend mom grandma. So I've had that maternal grandmotherly interaction, but just not with my biological maternal grandmother. And I've asked, different people, because my mama died when I was young too. So yes, that was like this generational curse that had to be broken. But I was asking different people that did know my maternal grandmother about her, because I wanted to know about her. My maternal grandmother only had 3 kids, and she lost 2, which was my mom and my uncle. So there's only 1 child left, my other uncle who lives out of the state. And he's gotten a lot older where he doesn't remember a lot of things from the past. But I just recently got into digging into my history because, the medical conditions that I'm carrying, as well as the obesity. You know, what side of the family did the obesity come from? But I could clearly see it was my mom's side, because Lord Jesus, everybody, you know, is not in no perfect shape, health, or form at all on my mom's side. But I didn't get a chance to meet most of my mom's side of the family because she passed away when I was young, and I grew up on my dad's side of the family, so it's not like they ever came and got me and brought me around. So I really didn't know most of them. A lot of them is gone to glory. But when I was asking about my maternal grandmother, everybody that knew her all told me that she was a relatively healthy woman that went into the hospital for surgery. I don't know if it was an outpatient surgery or inpatient surgery. I don't know what kind of surgery it was, but she never came out alive. I hear that story all the time from many different people. They was like, they never could understand how that happened. They said they could remember it as like it was yesterday. And I don't know. I guess nobody ever bothered to sue or look into it to find out what happened, but that is exactly what I heard. She went in for a surgery and never came out alive. What kind of surgery she had, I have no clue. That is one part of the information I am not able to get. And if my mom was alive, maybe she would have known, and I could have got the information from her. But my one living uncle, he doesn't know. He doesn't even remember. So, yeah, that kind of concerns me a lot, that I could go in one day just for a routine surgery and just never wake up and come back out alive. I don't want that to happen to me. Now, if I didn't have the 3 little ones at home, I wouldn't say that I don't care, because I definitely care, you know, but I've lived a good life. You know, it haven't always been good. I had a really, really hard, rough childhood due to losing my mother at an early age and going in and out of foster care, and oh, that's a whole nother channel by itself. But yeah, I had a really, really rough life growing up, but I turned that around. You know, I was not going to let my childhood life define my adulthood life, and I knew that I was not going to let my kids live that same type of life. So if I didn't have the 3 little ones and God was ready for me to go today, I'm ready. I'm ready. But I always speak to God, and I tell God, please just let me live to watch my babies grow. I don't know how long He's going to let me live to watch them grow, but I'm asking Him. I asked Him with my adult children, because my grandmother did not live to see me born. My mom did not live to see my kids born. And I said, Lord, I need to break this generation curse. Please let me live to see my grandkids born. So far, I've lived long enough to not only see 5 grandkids, 5 grandkids born, but I also have 1 great-grandchild. Look at God. That is a blessing, because my mama didn't get that luxury. My grandmother didn't get that luxury. Now, my great-grandmother, she outlived both of them. I never met her. I just heard of her, but I've never met her because she didn't live in the same state as I. So, but yeah, I finally joined Ancestry and actually took a DNA test so I can learn more about my history, my heritage, where my bloodline comes from. So I'm still doing that, been doing it for the last couple of years, so I'm still learning more and more, and you know, now I want to pass that down to my kids so they know in the event something happened to me, where their bloodline come from. So yeah, like I said, that's a whole nother channel. But I'll let you guys know after I leave the surgeon's office how things went. I'm not sure if I would know today if the surgery is going to be a go, because they do have to do the pre-surgery testing and they have to wait for the results. So I'm not sure if I know today. When I did my back surgery, we did the pre-surgery testings a week before the surgery, but then they did the anesthesiologist test 3 days before the surgery, which made everything get pushed back. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll know today if everything is a go. So, but I will definitely let you guys know what he said, you know, what's going to happen in that appointment. All right, guys, so stay tuned. All right, guys, I'm done with my appointment, and it went pretty well. I first went to one building of the hospital to see my bariatric doctor. That really didn't take that long. We was probably in the room all of 15 minutes. He just basically went over the side effects to the surgery and some of the things that can go wrong during or after the surgery, and had me to sign a release stating that I was informed of, you know, what can happen. But he claimed all of this is just a 1% chance. Well, I know some people who've gone through bariatric surgery, whether it was the sleeve or the gastric bypass, and they had complications from the surgery. I'm not letting what they went through deteriorate my judgment as to me going through it, because everything that happens to anybody happens for a reason, and what happens to you may not happen to me, and what happens to me may not happen to you. So I basically just have to step out on faith and pray and ask God to watch over the surgeons and guide them, lead them, guide them, make sure that they're not hitting any organs that they should not be hitting, and that they're doing just what they're there to do. So that's basically, and I told the doctor when I was there, I'm like, you know, I'm very nervous. I'm not in a rush yet. That's the first thing he asked me when he came in the room. Are you ready for the surgery? I'm like, well, not necessarily. I said, let's just say I'm ready for it to be over with. He was like, what? That's an honest answer. He said, you know, that's mostly the response that I get. He also just told me what to expect after the surgery. I asked him how long would I be in the hospital. He said, if all goes well, the plan is to only be there 1 day. He said, but given my medical history, sometimes it could take up to 2 or 3 days, because not only do they want to make sure I'm able to tolerate liquids going down before I leave, but because I do have diabetes, they want to make sure my sugar is controlled before I leave. They want to make sure my blood pressure is controlled before I leave. So those are the 2 things they will be watching over me. But he was like, you know, I expect that it will be no longer than 3 days. So the 1 day sounded good. Also, I asked him if I can have, you know, at-home services, like a nurse come out. He's like, no, you really don't need that, because you should be able to be up and walking and doing things on your own. I said, okay. You know, I left it with that. And one of the things that he mentioned that just made me have a big old smile is that once the surgery is over, I no longer have to take the omeprazole. The omeprazole is one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go through with this surgery, because the omeprazole, though it does its job and it does its job well, it also has a really, really negative effect to your body if you be on it for too long. And I have been on it for way too long. I've been on it for over 20 years. So it is time for me to kick that. And he told me that I should not have any more acid reflux after the surgery. That is another thing. I'm so happy. I'm so looking forward to that. And we hoping that the next thing we'll be able to do is to kick the diabetes medication. So that is going to be the next thing. They told me that I can continue to take all of my prescribed medicines all the way up until the day of the surgery, but I could not take any over-the-counter medicine. So I'm not able to take any of my supplements that I'm currently taking. So I have to stop taking all of that. And he told me that my liquid diets will actually start Friday, which is this Friday. Today is Tuesday. So I only got like 3 more days of solid foods. Well, actually 2 more days of solid foods before I have to go on an all liquid diet. I asked him if I can freeze my protein shake, which is the Atkins shake, make it into an ice cream. And he said, well, I've never heard nobody do that, but he was like, you know, if it works for you, fine. I said, because I can't see myself drinking 5 of them a day when I can barely get through 2 of them a day. So I'm going to try to turn a couple of them into ice creams, because then I can probably get it down faster than trying to drink, because it takes me a whole hour just to drink one shake. So we talked about that, and we also talked about his goals for me. Now, I never did tell him what my goals was. I did tell it to my nutritionist when I had my appointment with her. When I first started this journey, which was like a year and a half ago, his goals for me was to get to 150 pounds. Now, I didn't really say nothing because I already knew that was not happening. I told you guys before, when I lost weight on my own using the Ally diet, I got down to 187, and I didn't really like the body that I was in. This time I'm going in with a different mindset. It's not just about losing weight, but it's about being healthy and being around long enough to enjoy my kids. So if I get back down to the 180 range, then I'm okay with that. Even if I drop a little bit below 180, maybe 177 instead of 187, I'm okay with that. But I'll be darned if I go below the 170, 180 range. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So when I had my appointment with the nutritionist, she was like, well, what is your goals? I told her what my goals were. She was okay with that. So when I saw him today, I told him that, you know, I said, well, I just want you to know that I don't want to be looking real skinny and anorexia. I don't want to get too small. He was like, he looked at my current weight, which, by the way, was up. I'm very disappointed at myself, but my weight was up from the last time I visited with him. I think the last time I visited with him was like back in May. I believe I visited with him back in May. And it may have been April or May, I don't know. Well, anyway, I was 5 pounds lighter than I am now. I gained 5 pounds since that, but I'm still below the starting weight of when I first started this. So I'm glad that I gained the weight prior to them having to send off for the pre-surgery, what they call a pre-surgery authorization to your insurance, because your insurance want to see that you're making some progress. It's not required for you to lose weight or require you to have a certain A1C or anything, but they want to see that you're making some type of changes on your own to see if this is going to be effective or not. So from the time I started this journey up until it was time for them to submit the final approval, pre-approval to the insurance, I had to lose about 15 pounds. So the insurance was, okay with that. So I'm up now 5 pounds. So now I'm still down 10, but I'm up 5. And so he really didn't say anything about it. So I'm glad, but you know, of course I'm about to start the liquid diet, which is the liver shrinkage diet. That's gonna have me to lose another 10 to 15 pounds. So I'm okay. I'm okay with all of that. And so yeah, it was the insurance approval for me was a little iffy because of the fact that I did not meet the BMI requirements. So for weight loss surgery in my state, I don't know if it's the same in all states, but with my insurance, that is, I don't even know if it's the same with all insurance. You have to have a BMI of 40 or above. My BMI have never been 40. I think the highest, even with my highest weight, I got to like 39, but I never got to 40. So right now I'm at like 36, and that's still below the BMI requirement to get approved. So the only way the doctors can get me approved is by proving to my insurance that I have medical needs that is probably successful in either eliminating or curing by having a weight loss surgery. One of the medical needs, of course, is that I have sleep apnea. Another one is diabetes. Another one is high blood pressure. And of course, my reflux. So all of those combined allow my insurance to make the right decision in approving me for this weight loss surgery. So I'm happy for that. A lot of people look at me and be like, why are you going through weight loss surgery? You don't even look all that big. And what they don't understand is that when you're overweight, you're overweight. No matter how much overweight or how less overweight you are, if your weight is affecting your health, that is the big issue right there. That is where you have to do something about your weight, whether you do it on your own or get help doing it, you know. So I had to explain to them, I have to do this because this is not just about losing weight. People always keep saying, well, have you tried this? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? It doesn't matter what, even with the Allied diet, even though I stuck to the Allied diet, I lost a lot of weight, got down to 187 pounds, it did not take away my acid reflux or any other medical problems I had. It may have made it tolerable, like the diabetes, for instance. I didn't have to take insulin at that time, but I still had the diabetes, so it didn't go away. So the doctor did tell me that I will probably still be on the Ozempic after the surgery, but I shouldn't have to be on the insulin no more, which I haven't really taken insulin in over a week since I started the pre-surgery diet because I'm not implementing a lot of sugar. Now, I have had some food that was outside of my pre-diet surgery. That's because I didn't feel like cooking, and I let my granddaughter cook, and she just cooked whatever she wanted to. And I was hungry, so I ate it. So anyway, but yeah, I'm going to try to enjoy the last 2 days of my pre-surgery diet before I have to go on the all-liquid diet. I was asking him the different type of liquids I can have. I wanted to know if I can have cheddar cheese soup. He's like, nope. It has to be just pure liquids. So I said, okay. So after I saw him, I had to go over to the other building, which that just irritates me because you have to pay 2 different parts. You know, you in the same place, but the other place is too far for me to walk, so I have to actually drive around and parking a lot over there and pay for parking over there. But I went over there, I went right back to the same pre-surgical area that I went to when I did my back surgery. I first saw the nurse who went over all of my medications and talked about, you know, what I have to stop. She also gave me my pre-surgery paperwork to let me know, you know, and at each level of time prior to the surgery what needs to be done. Now, the surgery window is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So thank God it's not an early morning surgery like the back surgery was. I had to be at the hospital like at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was tired as I don't know what, waiting to get that surgery done. And because they make you come 2 hours before the surgery. So luckily, with the bariatric surgeries, the window is between 10 and 4. So it won't be no earlier than 10 and it won't be no later than 4. So she was just going over that with me and letting me know that they'll call me the day before and let me know what time my surgery is scheduled for. Then after she leaves, she's like, okay, well, the anesthesiologist will be in next. And when that door opened, and I looked at the anesthesiologist and walked through that door, it was the same person that did my exam when I had my back surgery. The same one that had my back surgery postponed because she felt like she heard some crackling in my lungs, as she stated. She introduced herself as the anesthesiologist nurse practitioner. So that's who she is. She remembered me when she came in. She's like, hi, Sandra, I remember you. I said, yeah, I remember you. And we basically went over the same protocol we went over when I had the back surgery. Asked me a lot of questions. She remembered a lot of the things that I told her before because she kept a note of it and she kept it on my record. She also reviewed what happened with the anesthesia when I had the back surgery. So she knew that I had to be Narcan. So she said that is one of the things they're going to be really paying attention to when I go under this time, to make sure that they're not giving me too much medication. They're going to make sure that my pain is controlled better and hopefully get me out of there soon and I won't end up in there longer than I need to be like I did the first time. But she was a lot more nicer this time. She did the same type of examination, listening to my lungs, and all I was saying was, Lord, please don't let her hear nothing. Please don't let her hear nothing in my lungs. And she didn't hear anything, you know. She said everything was fine. The only issue she had was that my potassium was low over the spring when they checked it, and she just wanted to have that recheck. So they did a blood test today to recheck my potassium. I don't think nothing is wrong with my potassium because I have been taking my potassium supplements. So hopefully that will turn out good. And other than that, I'm all set to go. So I will definitely be updating you guys on my experience doing the liquid diet. I am going to start that on Friday, which is only 3 days from today. He also gave me this little, he called it a gift. This little bag right here. He called it a gift. In this bag is 2 bottles of Ensure pre-surgery clear carbohydrates. So I have to take one of these the night before the surgery, and I have to take one of these 2 hours before the surgery. So these are the 2 things that was in this bag. He also gave me some type of antiseptic skin cleanser he wanted me to use. He said I could either use it the day before the surgery or the morning of the surgery, but they want me to wash up with this. So, but this is what this is. So I am going, I mean, I can't believe it's actually happening, you know? But, yeah, so that's it. When I'm ready to start these liquid diets, I'll let you guys know how they go, and maybe you guys can give me some tips on how to. I think my biggest fear is drinking so much liquids to a point where I don't have room for water. That is my biggest fear, because he said I have to put the water in me. So I'm hoping that I can do both. So, but yeah, so that's it. I'm all set to go, unless they call me in the next day or two and say otherwise. So stay formed, okay? Have a good one.